I'd like to call the council meeting of the Township of Lopatcong for December 4th, 2019 to order. I'd ask that everybody bow their heads for a moment of silence. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Beth, roll call, please.
Councilman Belcaro.
Here.
Councilman Polito.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Council President Pryor.
Here.
Mayor Menducci.
Here. Do we have any public comment on agenda items only? John?
Yes, just a few. Resolution to adopt the surplus policy. Could somebody please explain that?
You want to address that, Ken?
During and then authorize settlement of sewer litigation as to the sewer agreement with Town of Phillipsburg. If you know what that is yet, please explain that during the conversation. And then approves submission of application to local finance for information with issuance. I'd like to understand these redevelopment area bonds secured by the pilot payments from the warehouse and light industrial space project. I'd like to understand that more. And I'd like to know what John Fritz is doing. It says 1 John Fritz building subcode part-time for certification eligibles. What does that mean? Anything, that number? Is that any kind of specific on number 4?
So, 1914. Oh, that's, that's a certification attached by civil service.
Okay, and then just another one. The forensic report, I'd like to know some information about that, if somebody could explain it during the meeting.
Okay.
That's number 15, I think.
Yep.
14.
14. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else, agenda items only? Seeing none, before I get started tonight, I do have a quick presentation. If I can have Michael Capola come up front, please. One of the pleasures of being there is anytime we can get to our youth, and had the honor of being invited to his Eagle Scout ceremony at Flynn's on Saturday. Having never been a scout, one of the things that scouting has done for me and these ceremonies I've had to is kind of help me with our youth that are coming up. I had more faith than I did before. This fine young gentleman here, his parents are here tonight, I'm very proud of him. It was a beautiful ceremony. And Michael did the batting cage over in the park. And that'll be here for generations to come, like the pool and everything else that's been built over there. And I joked with him on Saturday that the cat tempted to step in the batting cage myself, but not only probably couldn't hit the ball, I probably couldn't even see it at 61. So I'm going to bow down. Probably better than I don't believe it. But anyway, it was a beautiful ceremony, and things like this really enhance our park, and again, it restores my faith in our youth. So I have a proclamation for Mike. His Eagle project was the batting cages up at the pool next to the field house. Congratulations on achieving the high honor of Eagle Scout, the highest rank that can be earned through the Boy Scouts of America. Your achievement places you in a very elite group of scouts. The leadership skills you have learned in scouting and demonstrated in completing your Eagle project will serve you throughout your life. The true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the quality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. I commend you on earning this distinguished Eagle Scout Award and wish you well in your future endeavors. James Menducci, Mayor. All right. Want my better side? All right. Thank you very much. Good job, Rick. No, you're more than welcome to stick around, but again, I told you I'd get you in first, so. All right, under old business, number 1 is the minutes to approve the executive session and regular sessions for the November 6th, 2019 meeting. Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Beth?
I'll call that Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Manducci.
Yes. Number 2 is a resolution 19-295 to adopt a surplus policy. If you could explain that, Kim?
During our annual best practices questionnaire, this was one of the questions that the Division of Local Government Services had on there, and even though we discussed it many times, we did not formalize it, and this is formalizing the policy for that. And I know we discussed it at the last meeting, and for the policy, we want to keep 10 to 12% of our fund balance for unexpected expenses or paying down debt. So this just kind of puts it all in writing.
Yeah, maybe I can add a thing or
Okay.
two. It's unexpected expenses, of course, are one thing. Cash flow. We collect our taxes quarterly, but we pay our bills monthly, and we also collect taxes on behalf of the school board, and we have to pay them whether we collect them or not. So just like you're running your checkbook at home, we have to have a reserve so we can pay our bills timely. The other thing that's important, these best practices get published and people don't really understand their significance, but your fund balance policy or your reserve policy also has an impact on the interest rates we pay to borrow money. A strong policy will inevitably result in lower interest rates when you go out to market. So we have discussed this often. We actually committed in our last financing to this, and now we're formalizing the policy.
All right. Need a motion on number 2?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Manducci.
Yes. Number 3 is resolution 19-296 to authorize the settlement of sewer rate litigation and execute a sewer agreement with the town of Phillipsburg. I'm going to let Mr. Pryor expand on this a little bit. This lawsuit goes back to prior to my time, so it's been going on about 4.5 years. So
This is litigation, so I'm going to be somewhat guarded until the agreement is signed, formally approved by everybody, and we have all the signatures on there. But this goes back to 2013, I guess it is. We operate under an intermunicipal agreement with Phillipsburg. We send our waste to Phillipsburg. It's treated at their plant. They meter our flow, and we're sent a bill 4 times a year. The agreement went back to 1998. And in 2013, they embarked on, it was supposed to be a 5-year program to raise the rates 2% a year. And as a customer, we objected. The town filed suit. A lawsuit is a long, drawn-out, costly process, so eventually we put the lawsuit on hold voluntarily, both sides, and we sat down, discussed it, and tried to work out a solution which was really fair to both sides. And we have a solution. It's been embodied in an agreement. The agreement is going before both bodies. We're going to pass our part tonight. Their part will be passed. We'll get signatures, and at that point, I'll be able to give a full explanation of everything.
I'll be signing that the minute it hits my desk. So, all right. Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Menuchio?
Yes. Number 4 is resolution number 19-311, approve submission of application to the local finance board in connection with the issuance of redevelopment area bonds to be secured by pilot payments from the warehouse and light industrial space project. Yeah, somewhat of an explanation on that one, Kim?
Maybe Larry.
Larry?
Will you feel?
Yeah, well, this, as I understand it, is just to approve the submission of the application. The pilot program was done pursuant to an agreement between the township and the developer. I was not privy to that, and obviously you may know more of the details of that, but a pilot program in general, when you have a redevelopment area, the state law allows you to negotiate the tax based upon a certain formula concerning the improvements on the property. The land is assessed and taxed as all land is assessed and taxed in the township. But you then negotiate based upon formula set forth in state statute if the property is in a redevelopment area to enter into what they call a pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes. Now, the reason it's payment in lieu of taxes is because it's a payment, it's a fee paid to the town in lieu of taxes, usually goes for 30 years. With their changes, there's a state law that sets limitations on the value of the property. The developer gets a benefit normally because the developer is paying less than if they were taxes, if they were assessed on a regular basis. However, the reason that it's done is to attract development into the community, where a lot of development might not be there if they couldn't enter into a pilot program. The township ends up with a benefit because that portion that is paid in lieu of taxes is not paid to the Board of Education, their portion for the school budget, and the county only gets, I think, 5% or a small percentage of that, as opposed to what they would regularly get. So there's a benefit to the town, the biggest benefit being hopefully to attract development in the township and create jobs and so forth within the town and development. And the developer gets a benefit generally because he's paying less taxes.
Also, let me just note, the developer pays for all the costs associated with these bonds. So Lopatcong is not out any money at all.
Yeah, the pilot is negotiated, and like Kim said, the cost of this is funded by the developer, but by floating these bonds, he has more options in terms of how the pilot is structured, as I understand it. So this all gets approved by the state, and we're following the procedure laid out in the law.
Okay. Anybody else? Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Menuchio?
Yes, under new business, number 1, ordinance number 19-18, it's the first reading to update the salary ordinance to establish title and wage range for employees.
And we're gonna put an additional title in there, the seasonal employee, and we're gonna expand the range.
For the seasonal employee?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Menuchio?
Yes, the consent agenda, anybody want anything pulled out of the consent
Can I
agenda?
ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, we have the Inglesino resolution. Do we do that now, or do we do it after the consent agenda? It's new business. So.
Probably, well, could do it
Want to
now.
do it now?
Sure.
We charge a connection fee for new connections to our sewer, and the statutes require township utility to update that periodically. It's due for updating. And last year, there were also some changes to the law. There's certain discounts given to COA units and redevelopment firm. So we have to upgrade that ordinance, and we'd like to do it quickly so that we can implement it as early as possible in next year, next calendar year. So we've been using the Inglesino firm for the Phillipsburg lawsuit. They are familiar with the law, they're familiar with our utility. So I'm going to make the motion to authorize the Inglesino firm to update our sewer connection ordinance.
I'll second it.
Okay. Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Meducci?
Yes. Back to the consent agenda. Does anybody want anything pulled out of the consent agenda 1 through 15? Seeing no one and hearing nothing, can I have a motion on the consent agenda? Motion. Second.
Discussion quickly. I think John had a question on a few things on the assent.
Yeah, he had one on
14.
14. You want to explain? Who wants
Which
to
is
explain
the
that? It's the,
October billing invoice for the forensic auditor.
what's
You want to know about John Fritz too, John?
what specifically?
Number 4?
John Fritz, yeah. I know him.
You want me to explain John Fritz?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. Back in February 2019, we appointed John Fritz to the building subcode part-time, and he had to be entered into the civil service system and go through their, proper procedures, and we finally got a certification to go ahead and make him a permanent part-time building subcode official.
You good with that, John?
Yeah.
And 14, what did you want to know about it specifically?
Specifically, I don't know any specifics, that's why I asked the question. Authorized payment of invoice submitted by Wagner and Associates LLC, the amount of, who is Wagner and Associates?
They're the forensic auditors.
They're the forensic
They're the
auditors,
ones who've been,
and what did they come in to investigate? They come in to look for.
they come in to look for the problems that we were having in the tax collector's office.
Tax
Yeah,
collector's.
and sewer.
And can I ask one other question?
Sure.
Just a simple one. About COA units. I think you said something about reduction of something because within sewage processing or something for COA units. Does that mean only the COA units? Does that mean the entire complex, the COA?
No, it's only the COA units.
Only COA.
The balance of the complex pays the full freight.
That's,
I think, don't quote me, I think it's a 50% reduction for those particular units that are COA units.
okay, now, the reduction, does that occur,
That's why we hired John Inglesino.
Does that
That is not on the consent agenda, but that's why we hired John Inglesino
Okay.
to
Okay.
update our ordinance.
All right. You have a motion and a second.
Roll
And a
call.
roll call.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Meducci?
Yes. We have one announcement. Our year-end council meeting will be scheduled for Monday, December the 30th. Normal time?
Yes.
6:30 and
Yes.
7:30? Okay. All right, council reports. Mr. Polito.
Thank you. LAA, at this month's meeting, they will have elections for the new LAA president. I would like to thank the DPW for their help with the water issue on Powderhorn Drive last month. And I'd like to wish everyone a happy, safe, healthy holiday season. And that's all.
All right. Mr. Belcarro?
No report.
No report.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Mr. Wright? The only thing I have is Sunday, stopped over to deli here to have a coffee with the guys. A gentleman come up to me and started telling me about a story about neighbors on Linfield Terrace, where I guess a resident over there is feeding vultures. So he says, go over there and look. And so I went over and looked. There had to be maybe 30, 40 at the time, and I guess the gentleman told me that sometimes there's 80. I brought it up tonight, Mr. Polito advised me he had 50 in his trees. He lives around the corner there. So I guess it's a major problem.
They're gonna come where they're fed.
Yeah, and they're gonna keep coming if they're fed. And they don't just show up because there's flowers and stuff. There's dead food there, and it's, it's a problem. I brought it up to Beth tonight, and Beth might want to add a little bit to what I had to say. But we need to take care of this for the people there. It's terrible.
Can we speak? At all?
There'll be a public comment session.
All right, so what happened was we had a young lady come into the municipal building and with this concern, this your parents' house?
Yeah, well, she's talking to me. That's the one.
Anyway, she told us about this, she showed us pictures, we called the animal control officer. He was aware of the issue, he had visited this home before where this gentleman was feeding these turkey vultures, right?
Yeah.
So, the health department is aware of it as well. They investigated it at one time. I understand that investigation has now been opened back up again. And I received some changes that both the health department and our animal control officer would like us to make on our ordinance, which we'll do come January. That gives us a little more teeth, to be able to go after a situation like this on private property, not just public.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have.
Yep. Joe?
No, I have no real report. You've heard what I've been working on. Like Lou and the other members up here, wish everybody a happy holiday, prosperous New Year. I'll have one more meeting before New Year, so I'll say that again.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, just let me say, this is the end of my second year up here, and I'd like to thank all the council members up here and the staff, just for the civility that we've reinstated here on this dais. It's been, for me, it's been fun, because we're seeing some things getting done, we're getting some things straightened out. We're not perfect, but we're heading in the right direction. Our finances are heading in the right direction, and we've got some challenges ahead of us. We've got a lot more road work to do, but we're getting it done. And I'd just like to thank all of you gentlemen up here for your opinions and just the cooperation that I've received since I've been your mayor. It's been a real pleasure to come back and serve. We do have a soup sale coming up at our emergency squad building. They had one last month. It was very successful. I'm sure you're all aware of the problems that have been going on with the emergency squad, but I'm very happy to tell you that they're heading in the right direction also. Will it ever be what it was again? The world's not what it was back in the day. So, but we are working on it, and they're working on it. We really don't have a whole lot of jurisdiction over them, and I think you'll see some good results coming out of it. Whether we partner up with somebody else or we run it ourselves, I think we're heading in the right direction. And that's about it. So Merry Christmas to everybody. We do have a year-end meeting, as I stated earlier, on the 30th. So it's nice to see the people come out. I'm glad the room's not full, because that usually indicates we have a problem, and I'd rather not have any problems. So that's it for me. Paul?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just quickly, I have 5 matters to report to you tonight. I'm happy to report tonight that last week before the holiday, the Department of Transportation announced its grants for fiscal year 2020, and the township received another DOT local aid grant in the amount of $140,000 to improve the traffic signal at the intersection of Red School Lane and Baltimore Street. So that's a great thing. That's going to help us update that signal next year in 2020. So congratulations on that award.
And just one more thing, Paul, before you go on. Red School Lane, we're hoping sometime in April to get that going again?
Yes, in April, we're going to mill and pave about 3,600 feet of that road, and if we're able to get these traffic signal improvements designed over the next few months, I think we can probably build those improvements and do the balance of the paving on Red School Lane as well in 2020.
That's huge. So hopefully we'll get that done. And then we'll have Chief Garcia and his staff out there, because it'll be like Raceway Park then, so.
So thank you, Mayor. Speaking of Red Skull Lane, I just wanted to report to you that the storm sewer and sanitary sewer repairs that we had contracted for several months ago have been completed. The project is going to be closed out. You will have a recommendation at your year-end meeting on December 30th for a payment to that particular contractor for that work. And that sets us up to do the milling and paving work in April in that area of Red Skull Lane. Any questions on that?
Nope.
At the last meeting, we had a resident of the Plaza Road neighborhood advocating for the municipality to construct a sewer system in that particular neighborhood. That neighborhood is about 53 single-family lots. It's served by septic systems right now. The council, of course, wanted to know what that would cost and asked me to determine that cost after last night's meeting. We were able to do so. Just so you're aware, it would cost, in our opinion, about $1.5 million to build a sewer system for those 53 lots. You would have to build a pumping station in addition to almost 5,500 feet of gravity sanitary sewer. So it's a very expensive project. In effect, it's about $30,000 a lot, and that is for just the construction cost. There would also be cost to design the project and get permits for the project as well. That would have to be added to that. But I just want to give you the construction cost. If we were to do that project, there could be some economies of scale. There are also lots on Strikers Road that are not serviced by sewer. So, and also you have a cul-de-sac road, Vista Court, that's in that general vicinity. If you were to service a portion of Strikers Road as well as Vista Court, you would have another 35 lots that could be serviced, and that would add roughly another $450,000 in cost. So you would have, in order to service about 88 lots in that area, the construction cost would be about $2 million. And again, you would have to add soft costs to that.
I'm sorry, how many lots did the Vista?
You would add another 35 lots on
35.
Vista and a segment of Strikers Road.
88 lots total.
88 total.
Yeah. So it gets you in $22,000, $23,000.
Comes to about the $2 million range?
Correct.
Okay.
So it is by no means a cheap project. It's going to cost some money to be able to construct a sewer system for that area of the community. So those are the numbers.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks. Two other matters. We had received a complaint from the county about flooding on Liberty Road. The county DPW was of the opinion that the flooding was coming from Scotts Mountain Estates. We did have a meeting back in early November with the county, and we did agree to look into this particular issue. I'm happy to report that I don't think Scotts Mountain Road is affecting the culverts, the two culverts that the county has on Liberty Road. I think the culverts are very old and undersized, and there's a tremendous amount of runoff going to those two locations other than from Scotts Mountain Estates. So we wrote a report that says that, but we did find that the property owners in Scotts Mountain Estates, as well as the Warren Materials asphalt site, are not maintaining their drainage facilities correctly. So with your permission, I want to issue some correspondence to those owners as well as to Warren Materials on these issues. We do have a storm sewer line, Brian's aware of this, on Scotts Mountain Road that is about half clogged with material that I believe comes from the Warren Materials site. So we need to get this curbed and addressed. So with your permission, I'm going to put some correspondence out to these property owners as well as Warren Materials to try to get these things addressed.
Okay.
Any objection?
No.
Good. We will get that out. Last issue, and that is a sore point, it seems to come up around Christmas every year, but the Wordsworth Lane neighborhood, which also includes Harwich Road, has been hit hard by sinkhole activity over the last 5 years. We've had 3 major incidents in that neighborhood, including 2 on Wordsworth Lane, and another has cropped up over the last week. And I did have somebody from my company out doing ground penetrating radar yesterday, and we seem to have tracked down the reason for that particular sinkhole in front of House 31, and it seems to be related to a broken sewer line. and the sewer line could be broken because of a sinkhole beneath it. So we need to do an emergency repair. Brian has gotten a contractor out here to do bypass pumping, because that sewer line is broken right now, and the flow is just going down into the sinkhole that was discovered yesterday during our work out there. I have a meeting tomorrow morning with a contractor to get the situation assessed and to get the repairs done on that roadway, as well as to our infrastructure. We also think there's also a possibility that there's a water main break there as well. Well, I wouldn't discount that, that particular infrastructure had been damaged as well. So we'll find out more over the next couple of days, but the repair effort starts tomorrow morning. There's a meeting with the contractor at 7:45 out there in the morning.
Okay.
So I wish I had better news, but
That is what it is. That particular area seems to get, seems like every year. You're right.
right.
And around this time.
Yeah.
And just
Thank you, Paul.
so you're aware, I was talking to the person from my office who's a geologist, and he was out there doing a ground penetrating radar. He is actually going to see, he's going to talk to some people at Penn State, see if there's a doctoral student or somebody that would be interested in coming in and studying this, which would defray a lot of cost, and see what's going on in this neighborhood. So we're going to be pursuing that on the township's behalf, because it's just too much going on in this neighborhood over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So we'll have some more information for you on that. We're going to make an effort to try to see if we can get somebody that has that type of experience and is going through their doctoral program to come out and do a study here.
Okay, that'd be great. Anything else?
No,
That's
thank
it?
you.
Chief, you got anything for us other than the report we have in front of us?
No, I don't have anything further, but I'd just like to extend my best wishes and Merry Christmas, and thank you for a great year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, motion to approve department reports.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Payment of bills? Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Beth?
Yes. Councilman Belcaro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks?
Yes. You're on.
Cool beans. Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you for listening to us. This is a battle that we've been fighting for about 1.5 years now as a street. My main concern isn't really that they're birds. I mean, there's animals everywhere. I've passed the New Jersey Fish and Wildlife course multiple times. I'm an avid hunter. I love wildlife. But it's a big health hazard. We have a 3-year-old next to that house. She's never been allowed to play on her play set in 3 years. I get a little emotional with it, sorry. Their dog has been chased, their cat, their fish have been eaten. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it tonight, they were sick, so I'm speaking on behalf of them. Thank you for listening to it, because it's been a really big issue for us. They've caused a lot of property damage to roofs. I mean, I rent in the house, but they've already ripped our roof, and it started off in just one house, and now it's on,
The whole
I think I counted the whole street had at least one bird on it this week. And we have kids that are from 1 year old up to 10 years old. The guy picks up roadkill, takes it out of his car, puts it on his deck, feeds them.
Yes, raw meat.
I've kind of been a spy the last month, going into our son's backyard with his permission to take videos. He'll stand there, you see him feeding chunks of chicken, meat from the store. He picked up a squirrel last week that I saw he took out of his car. I don't know why someone want to go look for roadkill, but the birds are more than capable of finding it themselves. And as a hunter, you know, like, you leave wildlife the way it is, you don't mess with it. Survival of the fittest, they know how to survive just like we do. So that's all I really have to say, but it's been an issue, and, you know, we always hear the phrase, you know, we're at the wrong place, wrong time, but luckily this Sunday we were at the right place at the right time when
That was my
her
husband.
husband.
Oh, that was your husband? Okay.
Got to run into you, because literally people laugh at us when we're like, we have a turkey vulture issue, and it's not even just turkey vultures, there's a separate kind of bird that's a black something, I forget the term, we were talking about the other night. So it's actually 2 separate, and not only is he feeding, but we found out that there's a female across the street on the other street that actually feeds them as well.
Wow.
So we've done a lot of
Probably
research.
not far from you.
Yeah, probably.
50 in my tree is a good day.
They're in a huge pine tree right on the
Yep.
corner. Is that where you are?
I
I just saw 60 today,
Okay,
so
no, I do, they're in my pine trees.
Yeah.
I sit there and I count, so
Well,
You said all of Linfield, but specifically the guy, what,
specifically Linfield is where it started.
right?
I don't know if he was fined by the town at all, because there was a point where all this machinery was in his yard and he was
Yeah.
cutting down trees. So I don't know if the town was like, hey, you have to cut down trees to try to
It was number 22 Linfield,
Yeah,
isn't that
22
the two?
Linfield. You know, the neighbors have gone over and knocked and was like, hey, can you stop feeding? And he just gets, he got drunk and went to people's houses and started screaming at them for, I'm like, you're feeding vultures that know how to feed, like, know how to eat.
The
I
main,
mean-
the main thing is it's health hazard
Yeah.
for the whole street, because especially the children and animals. We all love dogs, I feed the birds, I feed the squirrels, but feeding a vulture and having that man put raw meat out on his deck and having those vultures eat it, and God knows what they have dropped on the lawns near him from someplace else. And if a child happened to be pick it up and say, "Oh, what's this?" Or the dog will be sick because it ate something that this vulture dropped. My husband saw you on Sunday. It was a complete accident. He had no idea. And that day, on Monday, he had counted 50.
Crazy.
And the day before, I had counted 28 coming out of one tree. Now, I know they're going to be around no matter what we do, but this man cannot be allowed to continue feeding these animals. Yes, you have an ordinance that you can feed wild animals, yes, but there should be a restriction on scavengers. They should not be allowed to feed scavengers. Now, are you gonna go and pick up a wild animal and put it on your back deck?
No.
And not, and have a droppings on the next door? The little girl's swing set had 4 across it and droppings down her slide. She can't use it. They cannot use their grill because it's covered in feces from the birds. This is unhealthy for everyone, not just this couple and their child and their dog. Did you have a picture of the birds chasing their dog?
Yeah, she
I
has a
went-
live camera outside and all you see is all the birds swarming her dog outside.
Now, my name is Susan Rathjens, and I was going over there to the next house. I was afraid to walk past because there was one vulture here, one on the fence, one in the backyard, and one up on a tree. And I'm yelling at it and clapping at it so it would go away so that I could walk through. I didn't know if it was going to attack me. It didn't move, so it wasn't afraid of people. But could it have attacked me? Who knows? Because we don't know what they're going to do. They're wild animals. We don't know, but the main thing, please, it's a health hazard. They could make an amendment to whatever your ordinance
We'll take
is.
care of it. We're gonna do that, yeah.
Please do that.
Take up all the time.
No,
Yes,
it's
I'm
fine.
sorry, but
No, it's
I mean,
fine.
it sounds silly because it's,
No, not at all.
it's a health hazard.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
only,
you deal with them all the
I've
time.
had the problem for years.
yes,
Yeah.
well then we know because it's somebody feeding them. We have to stop this man from feeding them. They're gonna pick up stuff and find it and take it to places. We all know that. That's nature. But when you draw them to an area, and that area includes a couple of blocks then, not just our street, because you're affected, and the whole street is affected, so we don't know. And there's a lot of people that love walking their dogs down our street because it's not a lot of traffic. And of course, God knows what these poor dogs. And I'm a dog lover, and I had dogs, but the problem is children.
Yeah.
There are a lot of young children again on our street. There were, and then they grew up, and now there's young ones again.
They'll find roadkill, they don't need the help of a resident.
No, please do something.
We will.
Our neighborhood
Take care.
needs your support, we need your help.
Thank you.
Are these
Thank
birds,
you.
are you fighting these birds right on top of his deck?
Oh,
Do you
yeah,
want to
they
see
show
a
the
picture?
pictures.
They're all over the houses.
I'll show you.
Yes, they're on top of the
Yeah.
By the
houses.
way, may I ask, is someone taking video of some of this happening?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the
Oh, I
one-
have videos, I have
Okay.
pictures.
She
I was
has-
gonna print them out, but honestly, I'm a broke college kid and couldn't afford to send them.
Well, no, but if you can...
Can they print it out for
The
you?
neighbor's house right there with all of them on.
I was so glad my husband said,
I know.
he was talking to the man that lives around the block, and he said, oh, then you know,
His house.
no, I never
Yeah,
met
Richard,
you.
yeah.
On a date
So that's my husband Al,
with
and I'm Susan.
What is he getting from?
Here's the dog being chased. The dog's running for its life. I mean, they're...
When it
they're
wouldn't
everywhere.
move when I'm trying to get past it.
Yeah.
That scared me a little bit, because you know,
Yeah.
it's supposed to went after my eye.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And their talent, people don't realize all these birds on the roof. Their talent,
They're
they're
big they're big
ripping
birds.
people's shingles.
Oh, I see, you can see.
I meant different.
That's just a simple,
Oops.
Can I help you?
If you want to email them to the township. Yeah.
Yeah, I can email them all. I've
Yeah.
like...
I wish you
know,
could look at the pictures.
enforcement becomes much easier when we have evidence submitted by any,
Yeah.
Larry was getting
Yeah.
to that, so the more
Yeah, and then
documentation
we
we have.
need evidence, and if the council wants, I don't know if Katrina has done any work on this.
This is the first time I heard of it.
This particular issue.
Yeah, if Sunday was the first time you heard
There's
it.
a lot of,
We
like,
can,
if you don't live on our street, you don't see
Whether or
them
not-
like that.
No, you know, I've seen them, and
Yeah, you just ignore, oh, the birds flying,
they'll
it's all
congregate in an
part of
area
nature,
for a couple
yeah.
days and
Yeah.
then disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
You
the case.
obviously have something that's keeping them in the neighborhood.
I just
50
moved
birds
here
on
for
one
4 years,
day,
so
I
I've been
mean-
here for 4 years, basically.
Is there anything you can do to pass some kind of a restriction that this man cannot feed them?
The attorney's trying to.
I'm sorry.
If the council wants, we'll do some research in this and give a report to the council as to what could be done now, as opposed to adopting ordinances, because they're very difficult. There may be something on state law that we can look at. In any event, we'll do the research.
Would
If
you
you
be better off
authorize
with Board of
us.
Health at this point, and putting some pressure on
Yeah,
them?
okay.
Because obviously, I mean,
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
park
we
is
may,
still
we
there.
could, we could
We
do
may
that.
have a-
Let me discuss it with Katrina tomorrow. We'll
Yeah,
authorize us to do some research, and we'll give you an opinion letter. as to
We
what
may
think
even
should
have
be
some
done.
sort of public nuisance thing, something general we can. act
Board of
on.
Health, that would be
I
a
mean,
good-
you know, I mean, putting
Yeah,
money
it's
out
gotta be a health
for,
issue.
you know, birds is one thing. Throwing
You have
roadkill
information on
it.
this, right, Beth?
He-
Yeah, it would help if you get some photos to the clerk.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
mail
get the
them,
email
give her a mail,
stuff out.
yeah.
Do you have phone numbers and everything?
I'll give them.
Yeah.
Just give you my email. Okay.
Our HOA.
Thank you very much for listening to us, because it is a health hazard, and that's what our concern is.
Yes.
For the children on our street, it is very, very health concerning, because you don't know what they're gonna pick up.
Never thought about that.
Little one coming out, falling on the ground, you know, with
Yeah.
whatever drop, you know, whatever they bring in, it's really disgusting. Thank you.
We've heard you.
We'll take
Thank
care of it,
you.
ma'am.
It'll,
Thank you very much for
something
listening
will
to
happen.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. John?
Once again, my name is John Betts, over Breakley Gardens on Red School Lane. I don't know if I'm going to ask these questions right or not, or whatever, but I'd like to know who holds the bonds, and it's bonds with the warehouse, with the redevelopment area bonds, who holds the redevelopment area bonds? Who pays for the redevelopment area bonds, who secures the redevelopment area bonds, and how, is there any exposure to loss to the town in any way, shape, or form, like tax dollars or commensurate to the tax receipts which would have been received had these bonds not be taken out?
I haven't, maybe you can explain the bonds themselves more, but these bonds are issued to be paid back by the
developer.
fees, the pilot fees that are being paid by the developer.
Do they come to the town, or do they go to the?
They go to the town, and then the town, you know, dedicates those for payment of it.
Yes, and then, but that could result in loss of tax dollars that would normally be collected on that property.
I'm not an attorney, trust me.
No, I
But-
understand, I'm not doing, I'm not.
But I was involved when this was all gone through. I understand, as I recall, they're non-recourse bonds. We don't stand behind them.
Right.
You don't stand behind,
And
if they're valued.
I'm going to give you a number. I mean, let's say that after doing all the financial analysis and so on, we're supposed to get $1 a month in pilot or whatever.
Yes.
And these bonds cost another 10 cents. That's put on top of what we
Yes.
negotiated, and the developer funds that.
Now, if
So-
bonds go boom, Is there any exposure?
Then whoever holds them is, love them.
Okay, all right, and then just one other question, you answer this for me before I forget. In the surplus policy, it's surplus, and you said it's 10 to 12%
Yes.
of the fund. What's the fund balance? I think you told me already, but is it?
It's over $1 million.
It's about $1 million.
$1.1 million, I believe.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, thank you. Thank you, council, thanks, everybody. Jim, it's upstairs.
Upstairs?
This weekend, they're having a breakfast with Santa
Downstairs?
downstairs, so
Okay.
just take the elevator up and get off it.
I'll find you.
It's right there. All right. Thank you, council.
Anyone else? Not still.
Sorry to end.
Not still.
Sorry to end like this. But my issue still has not been taken care of.
Any phase of it? No.
No. I come in and complain every so often, and then I'm told I gotta get in touch with the bank, and I go get in touch with my bank, and my bank really doesn't give me any answers. Don't really get any answers, direct answers out of here. So God, it's been, since I forget how long, a couple years now.
Yeah.
Tony, you met with Katrina, didn't you?
I did not meet with Katrina. I
Oh,
was
you were
supposed to meet with Katrina.
supposed to.
Yep, I actually just texted her today.
Okay.
I was supposed to meet with Katrina and give her some paperwork.
Okay.
Not that it was gonna get taken care of right away, but she said she would start to look into it. That was only last month.
Okay.
It's still been 2 years. When I was up here last, you said that it was all gonna be taken care of. A big portion of it got sent back, big portion of the funds got sent back to Chase Bank.
Right.
You're still missing a couple $1,000 is what I'm complaining about, and what is my concern. So that part of it, I can't seem to get straightened out with you guys. I don't know this paperwork that they sent to me. I don't know. I got tons of paperwork. I don't know if that can ever means. I got pluses and minuses. They're sending bank statements to me. I don't know what any of that really means. Like I said, I can't get a good answer out of Chase.
Can we get a hold
or
of
here.
you tomorrow and just
Absolutely.
set up something within the next week at least?
Yep.
Because I'd rather see Tony out for dinner than here.
And the sewer bill. That's a whole nother issue. Yeah.
You still got a problem with that too?
Oh, yeah.
How much is involved with this sewer bill?
Which board do you want? This quarter. And granted, I haven't paid in a while sewer bill because I told you guys I'm not paying until everything else is straightened out.
Yeah.
My sewer bill is $1,879.13.
Well, we'll bring that to a closure quickly. That's not that big a bill. Well, whatever we have to do to get that down.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't believe I paid the sewer bill in a while,
Yeah.
but from I'm not sure what quarter it is. But from my June statement was $1,879. Then my September one went down to $1,635, and I don't think I paid it. And then now we're back up to $1,879. So somewhere along there.
Have you paid any of your current charges?
I don't think I have. I'm not 100% sure.
And what's the
I was
issue?
trying to look for the check.
We don't have a record of your payment? Is that the issue there?
I don't think, I forget the name.
Danielle did.
Danielle, I don't think Danielle has any record, but I'll come back in tomorrow. But I just wanted to be known in public again that $2,000.
I mean, whatever you haven't, if you have canceled checks or anything like that, that just speeds up the whole process.
Yeah, well, that was the issue in the first place,
Yeah.
why this is all a problem. I paid a lot of it in cash.
Yeah.
And I got,
Well, how much you think you owe out of that 2,000? What do you think you owe?
Charges paid, though.
I do not know. It's gotten so crazy.
Really?
Because we went from getting bills of $1,200, then getting $800 credits or $900 credits, and it was just
Yeah.
bouncing all around for the longest time, whatever Rachel felt was good, put it out there, then I
We
sent her
gotta
a
get it
picture of my
Yeah, well,
second
whatever
meter.
she thought was good.
It would drop down $700, and it was just crazy for the longest time.
I think the key is getting you to sit down with Katrina, and Katrina's empowered to settle these things,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, sit down with her,
Yeah.
if not.
And she's,
we'll
I mean, she's extending herself to be reasonable about these things, so.
Even the sewer though, because.
Even the sewer bill, yeah, we haven't paid as much
Problem.
attention to the sewer because the big money was in the taxes. And we have not done a forensic audit of the sewer. We've been settling those one by one. And we'll settle yours, yeah, you really just have to meet with
The reason why I
Katrina.
even actually came tonight, besides Frank reminded me, I was going for school loans, and today, one of the loan companies told me they didn't want to give it to me because my mortgage issue.
Which you didn't
That's
cost.
now affecting my child's life also, and that's
Yeah.
Not go with me at all.
No, that's great.
Let's get something set up with Katrina within the week, please.
Yeah, and if you want to stop in and just square up your current billing with sewer, just what your current bills are.
Okay.
And then,
But I don't know what that is.
well, Danielle will give you what your current,
Do you remember the last time you made a
anything
bill pay?
balance carried forward, we can
I don't.
hold.
And like I said, I may have made that, yeah, but I couldn't find my receipt, so I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't find my check.
Well, it's a little odd how you went from 18 down to 16 back up to 18. That's
I'm sorry.
a little odd. You went from 18 to 16 back up to 18,
Yeah,
and you don't reckon what?
And we never adjusted your sewer account at all, just the tax.
I don't believe you have at all.
All right. Thank you. You have my phone number.
Have a good
If you
holiday.
don't have anything within a week, call me.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good.
And those birds are just outside the back.
Yeah, you've seen them.
Anyone else? Lori?
Straight from I-78.
Uh,
All the roads are bad out there. There's a fire.
Yeah, we heard.
Yeah,
We had a
so,
couple people late to the meeting for that.
First, I'd like to thank Joe for helping with the recreation grant application.
Well, Lori does all the work.
He drives it up there though and goes and went and sat for us. So we're hopefully going to get the same amount or maybe more money this year, which will be good. We've already started booking bands too, so.
You know, it's like, they have the same pool of money, and this year they have fewer applicants, so we have a good shot
Yeah.
at getting a little more out of the
We got
pool.
2019, we got money too.
Yeah. So, and then what I'll do is, I know they're gonna want a final report, so I'll call Kim and get all the numbers, and I'll get that all together with you so you can see how much we spent this year. I think we did very good, and now that we have the trust account, anything that's extra can stay in there. I did know with the music in the park, they wanted them to do like some kind of instructional stuff, so we're just, even if they, like Joe was saying, even if they just like talk about like the songs, like the history of the song.
A
So
little
we're
bit
gonna-
about the culture, where they come from.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
a minimal amount we have to do.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
focus is on culture rather than entertainment.
Right.
So
That's why we're trying to get diverse
you gotta leave
bands.
it in there.
Like the brass, the big brass, they were very interactive. The Caribbean steel drum band,
That's a perfect example.
they
Yeah.
had the kids use the instruments. So we're going to try to continue to do that kind of stuff. But the other was for. I'm actually next week. We have a meeting for the county. We have another task force. It's a technology task force, and the county is trying to really ramp up their online presence and stuff like that. So what we're probably going to do is we're meeting with some people next week, and then I think I'll let you know. Jim Kern and I would like to come and talk to you guys just about some stuff. Lopat is one of the leaders in all of this, so we definitely want to come and kind of start here and talk about what you're doing and what we're looking to do. And we're trying to get like all these events out there, like our music in the park. The county is actually starting to share our events, and that's kind of what we want to do to
I
get
see that
everybody
on there,
involved.
Warren County Wanderings or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and they've been really good with that. And then the last thing is just the LAA, two things. We have our meeting on Monday, the 16th, not the week of Christmas, and also not the Tuesday before because there's court here, so we have it on Monday. I know Jim is there as our liaison. Brian's usually there, but we would like if Mayor Mengucci, if you'd like to come to that meeting, because we will be having the election for the president. So we're actually
But don't
looking for
have to-
non-biased people to
But don't
count the
have to a
votes.
county meeting.
Okay.
So there's a county meeting too, as you well know.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So.
I'm just curious, are there announced candidates or?
Yes, Sean Leahy and Dave Scheibel. And then I know we wanted to meet because we were going over some things. We did tally up our volunteer hours for the LAA, and this past year, we think we did about 22,000. So, I mean, everybody is working really hard. And just the last thing is I don't know.
In total or towards the stipend?
No, in total.
In total.
In total, yeah, like everything. But we did, I know, like we haven't figured out what else we're doing, but we're wondering if you would release the money before the year end.
$7,500? I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. And then I know we wanted to meet and see where we're going next year with everything.
So
We definitely want to help see if we can get the pool dances back up. and going, some way, shape, or form,
We don't-
even if it's the little ones.
I already got him.
Oh, good, good.
Okay.
And they were talking about too, maybe perhaps doing the movies at the pool, or even maybe moving it up to the park. If that helps, if that definitely helps, then we don't need to have lifeguards. It's not like they can swim anyways when they're watching the movie,
Right.
so,
We cut
But
down
we-
the cost.
yeah.
Just have to move the screen.
Yeah, we just have to move the screen. But we're actually probably gonna save money because we wouldn't have to pay any lifeguards, after 8 o'clock, so. But we'll look into all that. We can get together in the new year, but that's it. Thanks, be safe going home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim,
Yes, John?
just one other question. Is that Lopatcong warehouse complete now, construction-wise?
There is a tenant there. It is
They are
significant completion by the end of the year.
projecting for the end of the year, but then that's not accounting fit out. That means it has a floor, it's enclosed, and then the tenant has to come in and he has a special fit out inside. That's, the last we heard is probably the second quarter of next year, he'll occupy the building.
I said, thanks, Joe.
And we're getting this, we get it from the developer, so,
Joe Burke, second quarter, I heard third, so that's all right.
Okay.
Somewhere in
All
there.
right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Everybody up there.
Seeing none, hearing none, motion to adjourn? Motion?
Well, we got a customer.
All in favor? Are you coming up? Oh, sure.
Oh, well, we should
Do we
have.
need a motion to adjourn? Yeah, we got it?
Second.
Got it. All in favor?
Aye.
What's up? Yeah.
Okay, my pleasure.